So, good morning to all friends. Today we are to see the next chapter, that is chemistry of noble gases. So, we all know these noble gases are the helium, neon, argon, krypton, radon. So, all these are called as the noble gas elements, or the rare gas elements, or the inert gas elements due to its stability in its outermost shell. So let me see the chapter in detail. So for that, let I share my screen to all of you. So dear friends, you all know these noble gas which are present in the 0 group or 18 group in the periodic table. So all these are the noble gases. We can say here that these noble gas have the very stable electronic configuration. For example, when you consider the helium, so helium have the 2 electron, and so it have the 1s2 electronic configuration. Neon have the 10 electron, so it have the 2s2 2p6 as a outermost electronic configuration. Argon have the 18 electron, and 3s2 3p6 is the outermost electronic configuration. Krypton have 36 electron, its electron, and so have the 4s2 4p6 is outermost electronic configuration, whereas xenon have 54 atomic number, so it have the 5s2 5p6 outermost electronic configuration. And the last one, the radon, which have 86 atomic number and have the 6s2 6p6 outermost electronic configuration. So from this you all observe that they all have the stable octet electronic configuration in its valence shell, and that's why all the noble gas elements shows some inertness, or the shows or have the very stable nature due to its stable electronic configuration in its valence shell, and that's why they shows very extra stability than any other element one, and due to that they doesn't have tendency to react with the other species. So for that we have to see the chemical properties of the noble gases. What are the chemical properties of the noble gases, and how they are reactive, or whether they are reactive to each other or not one. So for that we have to see the chemical properties of the noble gases one. Okay.
Of these noble gases. So in these noble gases, we all know they have the stable electronic configuration in its valence shell, and that's why they have very little tendency to form the chemical bond with the other element. ते अगोदरच स्टेबल असल्यामुळे दुसऱ्या एलिमेंट बरोबर ज्यावेळेस रिॲक्शन करण्याची वेळ येते त्यावेळेस दे शो दी स्टॅबिलिटी और दे शो दी इन reactivity, or you may say have the stable nature, and so have very little tendency to form the chemical bond with the other species. But there are certain researchers who show some reactivity of these noble gas element to the other chemical, or other reaction, other chemical one. So how they can give some chemical reaction with some specific element, not all noble gas element, but some specific element under certain specific condition. So now they are called as the noble gas element because they use very few chemical reaction. म्हणजे काय इथं की काही रिसर्चर्सनी काय सांगितलं की they shows the chemical reaction under certain condition, or there are certain specific elements are there which shows some reactivity towards the element, or towards the chemicals by applying some certain specific condition. ज्यावेळेस एखादी स्पेसिफिक कंडिशन अप्लाय केली जाईल त्यावेळेस काही नोबेल गॅस एलिमेंट हे केमिकल रिॲक्टिव्हिटी दाखवू शकतात असं त्यांनी सांगितलेले. and so they are called as the noble gas element. Why they are called as noble gas element? Because they gives very specific reaction or very few chemical reaction they will shows, because when you apply some certain specific condition, then they can shows this chemical reaction with certain chemicals one, mostly the most electronegative element generally. Okay. So this is the statement by some researchers. Now we have to see some characteristics of this noble gas element. What are the characteristics of this noble gas element? And by that characteristics, you can identify this noble gas element in very well way. So very first characteristics for this noble gas element is the atomic radii. What are these atomic radii and how it will be increases or how it will be decreases from which side to the which side. So all these you have to see in this point. So atomic radii, when you consider for this noble gas element, so the atomic radii of this noble gas element increases with increases in atomic number, because at each successive step new cell is being added and hence the electron cloud is expanding. म्हणजे काय की atomic radii ह्या नोबेल गॅस एलिमेंटचा इन्क्रीज होत जाते पहा, टॉप टू बॉटम यू मे कन्सिडर फ्रॉम हेलियम टू रेडॉन. टॉप टू बॉटम मध्ये याचे atomic radii हा वाढत गेलेला आहे किंवा इट विल इन्क्रीजेस from the helium to radon or top to bottom one. So why it will be increases? Because the increases in atomic number हा वाढत जातोय पहा, and due to increases in atomic number what will happen at each successive step the new cell is being added. जसं जसं atomic number वाढत जाईल तसं तसं काय होतंय की त्याच्या यामध्ये नवीन सेल वाढत जात आहे, नवीन सेलची संख्या वाढत जाते. and so at each successive step new cell is being added and hence the electron cloud is expanding, and that's why the electron cloud around this nucleus will get expand, and due to expansion of this electron cloud the atomic radii of this noble gas element increases from top to bottom, or you may consider from helium to radon one. So this is the thing how the atomic radii is there from helium to radon. As increases in atomic number, the atomic radii also will get increases, because at each successive step the new cell is being added, because the number of electrons are increases from top to bottom, and so the number of cells will get increases or it will added from top to bottom, and hence the electron cloud around this nucleus will get expanding, and due to expansion of this electron cloud the radii will get continuously increasing order from the helium to the radon one. Second characteristics is given here, the ionization energy. What are the ionization energy and how it will be there for the this noble gas element? So the outermost orbital have this stable electronic configuration. We already see about that, how its octet is complete and they acquire some stable electronic configuration one, and hence they have very high ionization energy. High ionization energy means when you consider the ionization energy for the noble gas element, for that you must know the what will be the outermost electronic configuration. If the outermost electronic configuration or valence shell electronic configuration that is have a extra stability, in that case the your outer electron or the valence electron, when you want to withdraw or when you want to knock out that electron, it require high energy one, because ionization energy is nothing but this is the only energy required to eject the electron from the outermost cell. आयोनायझेशन एनर्जी म्हणजे काय की कोणत्याही ऍटम मधला सगळ्यात शेवटचा किंवा आउटरमोस्ट सेल मधला किंवा व्हॅलन्स सेल मधला इलेक्ट्रॉन बाहेर काढण्यासाठी जेवढी एनर्जी लागते त्याला आपण आयोनायझेशन एनर्जी म्हणतो. मीन्स द एनर्जी रिक्वायर्ड टू नॉक आउट द इलेक्ट्रॉन फ्रॉम द आउटरमोस्ट सेल of the any element is known as the ionization energy. And when you want to knock out the electron from this noble gas element, you have to consider the electronic configuration for the outermost cell of this noble gas. And you all know the outermost cell or outermost orbital have the very stable electronic configuration, and hence it is not very easy job to knock out the electron from the outermost cell for this noble gas element. And this is the reason why this noble gas element have very high ionization energy one. जास्तीत जास्त आयोनायझेशन एनर्जी कशामुळे आहे, कारण त्याचं आउटरमोस्ट सेल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फिगरेशन हे कसं आहे, अतिशय स्टेबल आहे, and that's why they have very high ionization energy. Third one is the electron affinity. how electron affinity is there. So electron affinity is nothing but it is the tendency of the element to attract the electron through space is known as the electron affinity one. So here, due to the complete octet, the noble gas atom are unable to take the extra electron, and hence they have very low or the zero electron affinity. कारण काय आहे की नोबेल गॅस एलिमेंटचा आउटरमोस्ट सेल हे अतिशय स्टेबल आहे आणि अतिशय स्टेबल असल्यामुळे ते काय दुसरा इलेक्ट्रॉन किंवा एक्स्ट्रा इलेक्ट्रॉन स्पेस मधून कॅप्चर करण्याची त्याची टेंडन्सी अतिशय झिरो असते किंवा it is unable to take the extra electron from the space one, and hence they have very zero, or they have zero electron affinity, means the its outermost shell is a very stable one, and that's why all noble gas element have the zero electron affinity you can consider, because they are the very extra stable electronic outermost electronic configuration. Another character is there only for the noble gas element, that is monoatomicity. So monoatomicity is the only things for the noble gas element. Why? Because among the periodic table only noble gas elements are there, they are in monoatomic nature. Among the periodic table you can consider only these noble gas elements or the rare gas elements or the inert gas element only are there, they have the tendency in a monoatomic way, or monoatomic nature is there. So what is the reason? So due to very high ionization energy, zero electron affinity, these noble gas are not capable to form the molecule, and hence they are monoatomic in nature. काय कारण आहे त्यासाठी? they have very high ionization energy, अतिशय जास्त आयोनायझेशन एनर्जी आहे. आणि दुसरी गोष्ट झिरो इलेक्ट्रॉन अफिनिटी आहे, झिरो इलेक्ट्रॉन अफिनिटी आहे आणि इलेक्ट्रॉन आयोनायझेशन एनर्जी ही सुद्धा जास्त आहे. आणि ह्या दोन्ही गोष्टी असल्यामुळं नोबेल गॅस एलिमेंट्स आर नॉट कॅपेबल टू फॉर्म दी मॉलिक्यूल, मॉलिक्यूल तयार करत नाहीत नोबेल गॅस एलिमेंट. काय कारण त्याला? की दे हॅव दी झिरो इलेक्ट्रॉन अफिनिटी and very high ionization energy, and that's why all these noble gas elements are stable in its monoatomic nature. Monoatomic nature म्हणजे सिंगल ऍटम स्टेट मध्ये सुद्धा स्टेट मध्येच ते राहतात. त्याचं कारण असं आहे की ते मॉलिक्यूल सहजासहजी तयार करत नाहीत. त्याचं कारण म्हणजे झिरो इलेक्ट्रॉन अफिनिटी आणि हाय आयोनायझेशन एनर्जी वन, and that's why all the noble gas element are in the monoatomic in nature. Number 5 is there, that is the force of attraction between the atoms of the noble gases. Force of attraction between the noble gas elements are there. So what kind of forces are present in these noble gas elements that we have to see here? So the noble gases are the monoatomic in nature, but they can be liquefied, indicate that there is a presence of some force of attraction between them, and this force of attraction are nothing but these are the weak van der Waals forces, or weak van der Waals type of forces are there. As we consider in chemical bonding मध्ये आपण पाहिलेलं आहे की what are the van der Waals forces. So these van der Waals forces are nothing but these are the forces which are present in or in the your molecules or the atoms. Or so here we consider the noble gas element, so only atomic concept you can consider. But here when you compress or when you apply some external condition to this noble gas element, then these noble gas elements can change its state, so we all know this noble gas element can be liquefied from the gaseous states to the liquid state. They can be converted from the gaseous states to the liquid state, and that indicate that there is a presence of some kind of forces, and that forces are very weaker one as compared to the other forces, like your regular bond you may be considered as a chemical covalent bond, one. So any kind of bond consider, then they have the very high energy. So as compared to that, these uh, interatomic forces or these van der Waals forces are weaker one, and so that the force of attraction between these two, these noble gases are the very weaker, or the you may consider they are the van der Waals type of the forces one. Next one is the solubility in water. So solubility in water means the how they are the soluble or the not one. That thing we have to consider here. So solubility in water, so these gases are only slightly soluble in water, not regularly or not very highly. They are only slightly soluble in water. However, the solubility in water increases with increases in the atomic number. This is the atomic number वाढत जाईल किंवा जसे size of the element or the atom will get increases, the solubility of the this noble gas element in water will get increases one. This is the thing. Now the last statement for this, these are the chemical nature, how the chemical behavior for these noble gas elements are there. So here the noble gases are almost chemically inert. Inert म्हणजे काय की ते दुसऱ्याला सहजासहजी रिॲक्ट होत नाहीत किंवा रिॲक्शन वेगानं किंवा लवकर रिॲक्शन दाखवत नाही. अँड सच थिंग आर कॉल्ड एज इनर्ट वन. दे आर इनर्ट टुवर्ड्स अदर केमिकल स्पेसिस. म्हणजे सहजासहजी ते दुसऱ्या बरोबर रिॲक्ट होत नाही, त्याला आपण इनर्ट म्हणतो. So these noble gases are almost chemically react one. However, listen here. However, the xenon have been found to be chemically active one. Xenon have been found to be chemically active one. So here, if sufficient energy is supplied, which is equal to the ionization potential of these noble gas elements, they give some chemical reaction one. जरी हे नोबेल गॅस एलिमेंट हे केमिकली इनर्ट असतील किंवा रिॲक्शन दाखवत नसतील, तरी सुद्धा जर आपण सफिशियंट अमाऊंट ऑफ एनर्जी, सफिशियंट अमाऊंट ऑफ एनर्जी म्हणजे काय की एनर्जी ऑफ द आयोनायझेशन पोटेन्शियल or the energy equal to the ionization potential of that particular noble gas element when you supply that much amount of energy to that specific noble gas element, they can shows the chemical reaction. पुरेशी एनर्जी आपण जर त्याला दिली त्या नोबेल गॅस एलिमेंटला, पुरेशी एनर्जी म्हणजे किती की त्याच्या आयोनायझेशन पोटेन्शियल एवढी एनर्जी जर आपण सप्लाय केली, त्यावेळेला दिस नोबेल गॅस एलिमेंट शोज द केमिकल reactions one. So for that we have to see the next point, and that is the ionization energy, or the you may consider the chemistry of xenon. So from this, we in this chapter we have to consider only the chemistry of xenon molecule or xenon compound or xenon element one. So why? Because the xenon is only element here the sufficient amount of energy you can supply and you can show some chemical reaction with the other species one. So here only the heavier noble gas element, as you see in this table, the ionization potential or ionization energy values for the various noble gas elements. So you observe here the only heavier noble gas element which have the low ionization energy value shows some chemical reactivity. So for that we have to see the ionization potential or the ionization energies. Ionization energy किंवा ionization potential आपण पाहू सर्वच्या सर्व noble gas elements. So you have the helium element which have the 2372.3 kilojoule per mole ionization energy value. This is the ionization energy value for the helium in a kilojoule per mole. For the neon, it have the 2080.7 kilojoule per mole ionization potential or ionization energy value for the neon one. For argon, 1520.5 kilojoule per mole ionization energy for the argon. And the for krypton it is have the 1350.7 kilojoule per mole. This is the ionization potential or ionization energy for the krypton one. Again, xenon have the 1170.4 kilojoule per mole ionization energy value for the xenon element one, and last one is the radon. It is the 1037.0 kilojoule per mole is the ionization potential or ionization energy value for the radon one. So this is the table here. You observe the ionization potential or the ionization energy for the various noble gas elements one. So when you look carefully to this table, you observe that the ionization potential or the ionization energy will get decreases from top to the bottom one. From helium to radon, the ionization energy or the ionization potential will get decreases. It will decreases from helium to radon one, and that's why you can have the idea about the which noble gas element shows chemical reactivity to the other species, because we require the low ionization potential for chemical reactivity or the low ionization energy value for the chemical reactivity. And so that from top to bottom or from the helium to radon, you observe the ionization potential will get in decreases. Means as the element have the bigger in size or the higher radius, the ionization potential will get decreases from the helium to radon one. So from this, the ionization energy value, it is observed that radon have very low ionization energy. At the bottom or at the last one or the last element, that is radon, or bigger the noble gas element, that is radon, which have the very low ionization energy, and so it can be form the chemical reaction. This radon can form the chemical reaction very easily. What is the reason? That because they have the very low ionization energy or the low ionization potential one. But another thing is there, this radon is a radioactive one. It have the nuclear radioactive radiation, or it eject or it emit the radioactive radiation one, which are the very harmful to the life system one, because these radioactive radiation are very dangerous to the human life or the any life system. They can causes the cancer one. They have very difficult to control one also. This radioactivity, which is a spontaneous process for the any unstable nucleus one, which can emit the alpha, beta, gamma type of the radiation, and these radiation have very high energy, and so that they are very dangerous to the life system one. And that's why, due to its radioactive nature, this radon is not generally used to form the chemical reaction one, because it's radioactive nature one, and so that this radon is not used to form the chemical reaction. So above that, there is a xenon one. Above that, there is a xenon one. So xenon also have somewhat less energy, less ionization potential than any other upper noble gas elements one, from the helium, from the neon, from the argon, from the krypton. So among them, the xenon have the low ionization potential one, and so that this xenon can form the large number of compound as compared to the other compound, because xenon is a stable element and has the smallest ionization potential than the helium, neon, argon, and the krypton. Radon can be form chemical reaction, but it is not used in a chemical reaction due to its radioactive nature or radioactive things one. So here, the xenon is the compound, and xenon is the your element which can shows the chemical reactivity for the various compounds. And by using this xenon, we can have the various complexes, and how these complexes are formed, what are its hybridization, what are its structure, all these things we have to see in this chapter 1. इथपर्यंत समजले का? इथपर्यंत समजले का? आवाज येतोय का माझा? माझा आवाज येतोय का?
हो येतोय सर.
इथपर्यंत समजले का सर्वांना?
हो.
ठीक आहे. So let we see the some structure or the some tables is there, and by that table we have to discuss what are the structure, how they are one. So let we see the structure of the compound one. Various structures are there, and by that structure we have to discuss how they are one. So here when you consider the xenon difluoride is a first compound. Xenon difluoride is a first compound here which have the its two oxidation state and have the hybridization as the sp3 dehybridization is there, which have the linear structure in a single line. Your molecule xenon difluoride is there, so you can consider have the sp3 dehybridization and the plus 2 oxidation state one. Second is the xenon tetrafluoride, which have the 4 oxidation state, sp3d2 hybridization, and have the square planar geometry. So in this square planar geometry, the 4 fluorine are present at equatorial position, and 2 lone pair of electron are present at the axial position. So this is the structure for the xenon tetrafluoride molecule have the 4 oxidation state. Next one is the xenon hexafluoride uh, molecule. So xenon hexafluoride have the 6 at oxidation state, 6 oxidation state, and have sp3d3 hybridization shows slightly distorted octahedral structure one. Then next one is the xenon oxotetrafluoride. So xenon oxotetrafluoride have the 6 oxidation state and have the sp3d2 hybridization. And when you consider the structure, have the square pyramidal structure. In this square pyramidal structure, the 4 fluorine are present at the axial equatorial position, and at one axial position or at one pyramidal position there is a oxygen, and below that oxygen or opposite that oxygen there is a lone pair of electron one. So in this way to acquire the square pyramidal geometry one. Another one is the xenon dioxide difluoride. So in the xenon dioxide difluoride, they have the 6 oxidation state and have the sp3d hybridization, which have the trigonal bipyramidal geometry. So this trigonal bipyramidal geometry is acquired by this xenon dioxide difluoride molecule one. And last one is the peroxide or proper perxenate ion. And this perxenate ion, this is the ion one. So this perxenate ion have the 8 oxidation state and have the sp3d3 hybridization, and it acquire the perfect octahedral structure one. So in this perxenate or the hexaoxoxenon have the octahedral structure at each position on the octahedron. They have the oxygen one. So in this way, you can imagine or you can look the structure. You can have the hybridization, also have the oxidation state, and the your molecule one. Okay, so let me see the structure and bonding in this xenon compound one. How the structure will form, and what are the bondings are there, how they are one. So for that, the xenon can form the stable compound only with some electronegative element like the fluorine and the oxygen. So in this case, you remember two elements, that is the fluorine and the oxygen one. So both element you observe that they are the most electronegative element one. Fluorine आणि ऑक्सिजन हे अतिशय जास्त इलेक्ट्रोनिगेटिव्ह एलिमेंट आहे. मोस्ट इलेक्ट्रोनिगेटिव्ह एलिमेंट this fluorine and the oxygen one, and so this xenon can form the compound with this oxygen and the fluorine one. So various compounds are there, and we have to see all these compounds one by one. So today we have to discuss only one compound, and that is the xenon difluoride molecule. So in this xenon difluoride molecule, when you consider the electronic configuration or the valence shell electronic configuration. So by using this valence theory, valence bond theory, you know the electronic configuration for this xenon is given here. So you all know for the bond formation, we consider only the outermost cell electronic configuration and not the inner cell electronic configuration one. So up to the krypton, when you consider the xenon have the 54 atomic number, or 54 is the total number of electron in a xenon one. So below the krypton, there are the inner shell, suppose we consider, and the outermost valence shell orbital electron is like that. The 4d10, 5s2, 5p6, and 5d01. Okay, so here the when you consider such type of electronic configuration for this xenon in its ground state, again you have the fluorine as a ligand molecule for this xenon. So for fluorine, when you consider it have the the electronic configuration as the 2s2 2p51. So this is the outermost electronic configuration for the fluorine element. Below this helium, that may be inner cell, suppose we consider. So krypton, xenon, they are the inner cell considered as, and the outermost electronic configuration you have. Now, the electronic configuration for this xenon, you have to suppose determine in its ground state. In its ground state. So 5s and 5p, these are the, and 5d, these are the valence shell orbital. So in this valence shell orbital, you know that the for this xenon, s orbital have the 2 electron and p orbital have the 6 electron. P orbital have the 6 electron in its valence shell. So you all know the s orbital acquire the 2 electron and the p orbital acquire the 6 electron. This is the ground state electronic configuration for the xenon one. Now, what is happening during the formation of the compound? The your xenon central element will get excited from the ground state to the excited state by acquiring some external energy. So by acquiring that energy, this will get excited to the higher energy level. This xenon will get excited to the higher energy level. So during its excitation, what is happening with the valence shell? So you observe in P cell, in 5p cell, there are all are the paired electron, but one orbital lose its electron, and that lost electron will promoted to the higher energy d orbital, or it will shifted to the higher energy 5d orbital. And so this shifting will take place in excited state for this xenon compound or xenon element one for in excited state. Now at this stage, at this xenon in excited stage, have the two single unpaired electron. One is in the d orbital, one is in the p orbital. So two single unpaired electrons are present in the excited state for this xenon one. So at this situation, now xenon is able to form the bond with the other species. So other species are there, that is the fluorine one. So in last step, you observe that this xenon have hybridization in the in this you observe that the fluorine will form the bond with the this single electron of this xenon in its excited state. So there are two single electrons. So two fluorine atom attached to this single electron, because fluorine require one electron for its completion of octet, and by sharing its outermost shell to this single electron, it will form the covalent bond with this xenon one. So in this way, two covalent bond will get formed by this xenon and fluoride, or in between this xenon and fluorine. And so that when you consider the total hybridization, so in this hybridization, the s orbital, p orbital, and d orbital are involved. So one s orbital, three p orbital, and one d orbital is involved, and so are called as sp3 dehybridization. त्यामुळे त्याला sp3 dehybridization म्हटलेलं आहे बा. So here the spectroscopic analysis shows that the xenon difluoride molecule has the linear geometry. It has the linear geometry. याच्यामध्ये आपण पाहिलेले की ग्राउंड स्टेट मध्ये सगळेच्या सगळे ऑर्बिटल हे पियर फॉर्म मध्ये आहेत किंवा सगळे इलेक्ट्रॉन हे पियर फॉर्म मध्ये आहेत. परंतु ज्यावेळी मॉलिक्यूल तयार होतो त्यावेळी काय होतं की सेंट्रल एलिमेंट जो आहे सेंट्रल एलिमेंट एनर्जी अक्वायर करून एक्साइटेड स्टेटला जातो. एक्साइटेड स्टेटला जात असताना काय होतं की आउटरमोस्ट सेल ऑर्बिटल मध्ये जे इलेक्ट्रॉन आहेत ते इलेक्ट्रॉन ती एनर्जी अक्वायर करतात आणि एक्वायर करून एक्साइटेड स्टेटला जातात. सो ड्युरिंग एक्साइटेशन द इलेक्ट्रॉन विल प्रोमोटेड टू द हायर एनर्जी लेवल. आउटरमोस्ट सेल ऑर्बिटलचे इलेक्ट्रॉन हे हायर एनर्जी लेवलला प्रोमोट होतात किंवा व्हॅलन्स सेलला प्रोमोट होतात. सो ड्युरिंग दॅट you know that there is a formation of the free electron or the unpaired electrons. Unpaired electron तिथे जनरेट होतात व्हॅलन्स ऑर्बिटल मध्ये, आणि मग ते अनपेड इलेक्ट्रॉन काय होतात, they have ability or they have extra ability to form the bond and by acquire the stability. कोणताही इलेक्ट्रॉन जर सिंगल स्टेट मध्ये असेल त्याची नॅचरल टेंडन्सी असते की एकतर आपण दुसऱ्याबरोबर शेअरिंग होऊन स्टेबिलिटी अक्वायर करायची किंवा त्या एलिमेंट पासून बाहेर जायचं. सो दे हॅव दी टू वेज टू अक्वायर दी स्टॅबिलिटी. सो हिअर दे अक्वायर or they share its electron to the other species and form the bond with the other species. So other are there fluorine in its environment, and that's why in excited state this fluorine attached to the xenon and it will form the bond with this xenon. So that bond is the covalent bond because here is a sharing of the electron will take place, and due to that sharing you can say they are the covalent one. So two unpaired electron are here, and so the two bonds are formed in between the xenon and the fluorine one. So when you study the spectroscopic analysis, the xenon shows the linear structure one. Xenon shows the linear structure one. In this way, you can explain how the xenon difluoride molecule will form one. समझले का? So with this today we have to stop here because at 11 you may have the second lecture of the botany or zoology and the math or physics. If you have any query, you may